You guys for joining us. This is our, let me start again. Now we're being recorded. Well, welcome to the AFC Learning Resources Commission meeting for January 16th, 2018. My name is Claire A. Miller. I'm your chair for Learning Resources this year. Brett Williams is also here with us. Want to say hi, Brett?
Hello, everyone.
And we'll do quick announcements and stuff. Mostly, we're not going to go super long today, but I did want to share some information about all of the things we're trying to do with learning resources, and hopefully, at least some of this, will be useful to you. All right, so today we're going to go over who your officers are for this year. We're going to do our call for exemplary practice applications. Wanted to let you guys know when our date for the Learning Resources Virtual Conference will be. We're doing it early this year. It'll be March 1st. I believe that's actually a Thursday. Please forgive my typo. And we're going to talk about the service project that we'll be doing for our virtual conference. In addition, we're going to touch on a partnership with Region 4 and I hope a lively discussion about priorities and what LRC members would like to get out of the commission. Then we're going to do a door prize drawing because really, you sat through a whole meeting. You should get something, right? All right, so this image has seen better days, but these are your officers for this year. I don't believe Beryl has been able to join us today, but Beryl White-Bing is your vice chair. She's over here, and myself, I'm front and center, and Brett is over to the side. These lovely people are helping me wrangle all of the various administrative things that go with being a commission as part of AFC. So the question that we always get, or we often have, is what exactly an exemplary practice is. And I created a ridiculous little cartoon to at least illustrate that an exemplary practice, at least for us, is just something that you're doing that's working. It's something that supports student learning. It could be a program, a renovation, outreach efforts, or a more efficient way to do something. The sky is kind of the limit here. But we're encouraging everyone to apply for an Exemplary Practice Award. A, there's some money in it if you win, and B, this is where we get the kind of core presentations for our virtual conference. You guys are all doing really great things at your institutions, and we want to hear about it. So that being said, our exemplary practices submission period is now open. The deadline is coming up abruptly because of our early date for the conference this year. We wanted to get the conference out of the way before we started spring break. So the deadline for your application is February 9th by 5 p.m., more or less. I may not look at it until the next day. So if you're working late into the night, I suppose you could fiddle with this. We'll let you know by the next week whether or not you've been accepted. And remember, there's a cash prize if you take home the Exemplary Practice Award. So there are actually, we offer prizes in two categories. This year we've basically separated them into libraries, which can include MLS librarians, faculty, or paraprofessional staff who work in a library. Then we have another category, which is learning centers, tutoring, or some other kind of student support organization. Once again, that can include faculty, administrative staff, or paraprofessionals who work in a learning lab, tutoring center, or another student support context. Just make sure on your application you click the little box that most closely goes with what you do. We're not going to get super crazy about this, but we wanted to make sure that you know that there are two categories, and we just need you to pick the one that most closely describes what you all are doing. Are there any questions on this bit?
George,
All right.
your microphone was very soft. I don't think anybody heard you, but I saw you were trying to say something.
Sorry. Have the applications been published yet?
The applications are available. Hang on. Aha! How to apply. We have an online form through Google Forms. We're going to send the link out immediately after the meeting. Please make sure to include supporting documentation and upload it with your form. We're using Google Forms, so that does mean that you will need a Gmail or a Google Drive account in order to upload information. If you don't currently have one, you can create a free account through Gmail to upload your application. It should be pretty straightforward. Brett, is the volume better now?
Yes. Yeah, it's
Okay.
working.
Yes, your volume's fine. I think it was my volume that was the issue.
Oh, okay. So the Google form will be sent out to everybody via commission email. We'll also make sure it's published in various places, including on the AFC Learning Resources website. All right, so yes, if you want to apply for an exemplary practice, you do have to be a current AFC member. You do not, technically speaking, have to belong to the Learning Resources Committee, although why you wouldn't, I'm not sure, but you do have to be an active member in order to apply. Active member just means your dues are up and paid. If you are part of a group, and maybe some of you are members and some of you are not members, if you want to receive the cash prize, you must be a member. This did come up last year. Thank you, Lena, for that question. All right, so the next item on my agenda was the Learning Resources Virtual Conference. This will be our third, fourth, I'm not even sure anymore, year where we've done a virtual conference, and yes, it is Thursday. Thank you, Lena, the third year. Thursday, March 1st. We don't have a time yet, so I've just sort of blocked out as much of the day as I can. Part of the time setting will be how many presentations we have. It'll most likely be in the afternoon. It's going to be an online conference through Blackboard Collaborate, just like our meeting right now. It's going to be free to everybody, whether or not you're an AFC member. And it's primarily going to be exemplary practice nominees presenting their exemplary practices. However, if you would like to present at the virtual conference but would not like to apply for an exemplary practice, please contact me directly and we'll see what we can do. With that note, we're doing a service project this year. It's always a little bit difficult to do a remote service project for a virtual conference. Beryl has taken charge of this particular. Hi, Beryl. She's organized a service project that everybody can sort of do on their own, but will help out our communities as a whole. Here are the steps for setting up a sock drive for homeless shelters in the state of Florida. Yeah, you said you might be a little late. Thanks for joining us. Basically, all we're asking you guys to do is to set up a basket, collect socks, select a local homeless shelter or some equivalent institution, deliver the socks, and take a picture and let us know the name and address of the homeless shelter. A week after the conference is what we're asking you to do. Yeah, this is something a little different. We've done book drives and we've done book donations, and we figured we might as well try something a little different this time. So I hope that you guys will help us get the word out about this, and we'll get some socks out to people. All right, so This year, the Region 4 conference happens to be at my home institution, which is in Avon Park, Florida, right in the middle of the state. And we were asked if we would like to partner with Region 4 to help with the conference. Now, this is not a virtual conference. This is a real people meeting in real meet space conference. The date has been announced already. It will be April 27th. That's a Friday. We are going to be in Avon Park, Florida. Many of you may not know where we are, so I put us on the map. We're right here. If you are interested in presenting at this conference, we will be looking for presentations. These may be the same as your exemplary practice or a different presentation. But this is we're also partnering with Equity and Diversity, in case you don't know who EDI is. So this is going to be something a little different for us. Before we did the virtual conference, we had partnered with various region conferences to offer in-person development, but we're partnering with Region 4 and still keeping our virtual conference. I should have a call for presenters out to you in the next week or so. I'm just waiting on Region 4. So if you think you might want to come to beautiful Avon Park, Florida, please kind of keep that date in mind, and we would love to see you. And this is really the point where I'm going to stop talking and hope that other people have things to say. One of the things that hello. Oh, people are paging through. One of the things that we've been trying to really talk about as your officers are what we should be doing to help you all. The commission is a group effort, and it's the members that really makes things move in many ways. So what would be helpful? What needs could we fill? What are we doing well? What could we do more of? I'm really interested to hear any input people might have. You can either use the chat box or you can turn on your microphone and talk to us. Anybody?
Yeah, silence is deafening.
Okay, Lena suggested maybe some online training. Does anybody have anything in particular that they would like to see? Yeah, and then FLVC does most of the online training, and so does Florida Library webinars. So I'm not sure if that's our niche or not. I know one of the things that's been helpful for me as a member of the Learning Resources Commission is that when I'm trying to figure out how other colleges do things, I can find another member or someone who I've interacted through the commission, and I can just call them up or send them a quick email. And even if if they don't know the answer, I can still get an answer from someone at the college. So personally, I find that useful. Does anybody else use the networking aspects?
I have not recently. I when I was more active with the Technology Commission, one of the things that they did that was very nice outside of the region conference or outside of the virtual conference that you're going to have is, for example, for the exemplary practices, they had singular webinars for each of those exemplary practices, so that if you say, for example, we decided that we wanted to do, say we have 3 exemplary practices. So outside of the regional conference and outside of the virtual conference, having webinars that just highlight those singular exemplary practices.
That's an interesting idea. Thank you, George. So those of you who can't see the chat box, Brett says, one of the things the officers have talked about is the lack of learning resources related sessions at annual conference and regional conferences. We discussed asking the presenters at the virtual conference to try to present at their regional conferences as well. I know for a lot of us travel is really tricky, but if the regional conference is much closer to you than anything else, that might actually be a nice way to get the word out about the resources we offer.
Yeah, that's what I did with my presentation. Is I presented it at the Region 3 conference last year, and then I went ahead and applied to present it at the annual conference as well. So I was able to hit a fairly large group at the region conference, but I didn't have a big turnout at the annual conference. But still, I think the people that come to the sessions, they get a lot out of it. Any session that is presented, they get a lot out of it. So even if you can 3 or 4 or 5 more people, it's helpful.
Yeah, and Lena also notes that AFC wants more commissions to participate in the region conferences. And that's one of the reasons that when Region 4 reached out, I volunteered us to help out. Are there any other things that might be helpful for you guys? Or anything that you're really sure you don't need?
I think one of the, this is George again. I think one of the limitations that a lot of people have, even if they submit an exemplary practice or even if they present something at a regional conference, not everybody can make it to the annual conference. So it's very, very difficult to be able to present in more than one venue.
It's true, and I realize that not every school is super supportive of the funding needed to do that kind of thing. Would something like developing a scholarship program to present be helpful for people?
I like that idea. Or if we have, say, we do have some very attractive exemplary practices, beyond the webinars, maybe we take 1 or 2 or more of those and scholarship those folks to attend the annual conference so they can present at the annual conference. That way we, as a commission, do get more participation from the commission at the annual conference.
I like that idea a lot. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Beryl. Beryl asks if there's a way to have a room for presentations via Collaborate at the conference. I feel like that should be, from a technical standpoint, possible. Brett, can you speak to the tech side of Blackboard Collaborate?
As long as we have an internet connection and somebody with, access to Blackboard or Collaborate or whatever virtual room we want to do, we can have that capability. I know that we did that with our meeting at annual this year.
Yeah, we did
we had.
Yeah, so that people who weren't at the conference could join in for our business meeting, which we are required to have.
Correct.
Okay, Lena. Well, it's good to know that they've offered scholarships in the past. Pardon me. Sorry to interrupt, Brett.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking about the scholarships, and I'm not exactly sure what our financial situation is as a commission, but I would think that we may need to do more fundraising type activities or something to.
If we were going to offer scholarships, we would definitely need to do a significant amount more of fundraising than we currently do. Currently, we're trying to figure out how we're going to continue to fund without charging admission for the virtual meeting, which I'm pretty committed to. I think it makes the barrier to attend much lower, and it means that people can pop in and out as they need to without feeling like they've wasted money. That's traditionally been the main source of fundraising for commissions. So we are going to need to get a little bit creative if we want to start doing things like scholarships.
Do we have a treasurer's report for this meeting?
Well, nothing has changed since the last time I reported, so if you give me 2 minutes, I will find you my old treasurer's report and pull it up here.
And I do believe that if you share responsibility for with a region at a region meeting, you do get part of the monies that they earn for those region meetings. For example, Eastern Florida had the Region 3 meeting here last year, and we partnered with, I think, the Facilities Commission, and they received part. We split that money that we received after, obviously after the expenses and everything were taken care of, the money was split. So the commission should get some type of reimbursement from participating in the region conference.
Okay, well, I will look into that. I've got a conference call with them tomorrow to kind of iron out the details. The financial report for the commission as of right now, back in October, our starting balance was $2,499.27. We paid $500 for the Exemplary Practice Awards, and we paid $100 for the award plaques. That means our unbalance right now is $1,899.27. That right now is our entire commission budget.
So I think that not necessarily opening it up willy-nilly for anybody for a scholarship to go to the annual conference, but certainly the opportunity for an exemplary practice that has already gone through that process and has already been deemed, satisfactory or excellent or whatever the status of that is. Certainly supporting somebody to go to the annual conference to present something like that should be something within the realm of what we would like to do. I think that just makes sense. But there are some people that are going to be able to make it to the annual conference without those scholarships. But certainly those people who can't, perhaps finding some ways to at least maybe partially fund them. For example, I had some folks from Eastern Florida ask for scholarships.
George, we're losing you. Can you either speak up or move closer to your microphone?
Okay, how's this? Is this any better?
That's much better.
Okay. So, like for example, last year we had, I think, 3 people from our school apply for AFC scholarships. Now, those scholarships don't pay for the entire trip to the conference, but $200 or $300 might be able to fund somebody's ability to pay their registration fee, for example.
Yeah, I'm thinking a registration fee or a travel supplement, something to just kind of soften the sheer amount that it takes to get up to annual conference, because it is not an inexpensive conference. Well, thank you, George, for your thoughts, and thank you. Lena's offered to send the stuff that they'd put together for scholarships in the past to me. I appreciate that very much. Does anybody have any further thoughts on this, or shall we move to the fun part? Moving on. All right, so we're going to do a small door prize drawing. I don't see the little raise your hand icon, but if you are interested in winning the door prize, oh, George figured out how. If you want to win, it's going to be a collection of whatever I can scrape up. It'll be comic books, some advanced reader copies, and some vendor swag for yourself or your library. The winner will get them sent to you probably by Dilly. But please make sure you stick around after we officially end the recording so I know where to send it. Let's see who all is entering. Oh, bottom of the tool. There we go. All right, I'm going to count at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, everybody has about another 2 minutes to enter that while I pull up my random number generator here. Highly technically proficient. Anybody else entering? All right, here we go. Number 2 on our list, that's Melissa Davies, our late arrival. Welcome. You just won our door prize for today. We will probably have another meeting in February. Just keep your eyes open for your email. Yes, indeed. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining us. There'll be an email coming out to you with a date for the next meeting. Please make sure you share our exemplary practice, call for submissions, and the upcoming dates for both our virtual conference and our partnership with Region 4. Thank you guys so much for coming today.
Claire,
Yes, ma'am.
can you send me the PowerPoint because I came late?
I sure can.
Okay.
We're actually recording the session, so Brett will have that to go with the minutes.
Okay, thanks.